I am sewing. Got a really big NATO. And look, I got this Trojan soldier thing going with, look at all that. Full jail. But it goes up like that. It's pretty fucking wild. And I'm thinking about doing some of this up here. So I will let you know. I was gonna just keep on sewing, but I figure I might as well tell you guys a story, so I don't. Because today's kids, if you just mouth something out there, and you have to understand, we didn't grow up with Instagram or computers or phones at our leisure. We got yelled at when we got sat too close to the TV. You wanted to get out of the house as quick as you could, like get some food in you and get the fuck out of the house. You didn't care what. If you could grab a couple of toys and get out, that was great. But and then we never wanted to come back. I would go, that's why when I broke into pools, I always had to find something to eat. Whenever I ended up doing a couple of, innocent juvenile robberies where we actually jumped it. We went into my drummer's house one time in San Diego. We took a train down because I was getting $50 a month, and it wasn't enough. And my boards were like #1 selling boards. Dwayne, I heard your boards are selling. I hadn't been to Germany yet, but my boards were #1 in Germany, #1 in Switzerland, and I don't got any statements. And it's like, fuck, always $53 a month, or 56 or 58, like over and over. So I told my drummer and Barkley, my bass player, if I get a low check, let's say, we all went to some contest. We ended up on a train, and we put together a Beak, my drummer, File 17. We opened up for the Misfits, their very first show at the Cuckoo's Nest. So we did get some work in there before we broke up. And he had an aunt that lived in San Diego. I paid for our train flights or tickets to get down there. We went to a place for 3 days calling that lady his aunt, and then finally she wasn't there. We taped our fingers. We wore black knitted caps, and fucking drove there. I jumped in the bathroom window because I break into houses for pools and whatnot all the time. So I jump in, land in the shower, go open the door. Pete comes in. He goes to the aunt's room, and our plan. And now I'm gonna grab sandwiches and stuff like that out of the fridge and grab some. Back then, everyone had a bar, so you go behind their bar, grab a couple of bottles, grocery sack. He's got all these Mexican, Spanish coins and stuff like that. This is how I got my first car, 1964 VW Squareback, light blue, and it was Dave Beak, my drummer's. He's the head of a yacht club in Newport Beach now. That's how all my old friends turned into their dads. They didn't hang on to being to the kid that used to skate with them everywhere. Like when I went to El Gato's event and saw all my old friends, and they're all adults now. They're not. Their kid isn't home. I skated with there's a kid in you, and then when you sell that fucker off, because you're now an adult and you're in the company and everything. I don't know when it happens, but you lose your kid. And I knew all these fuckers' dads. Their dads were Army, and most of them. Mr. Alba, Army. Mr. Olson, Army. Mr. Mountain, Army. Cairo Bushings, Army. Alice Bearings, Army. Hawk, Army. Jodie Foster, Army. But they're all in the Army, from the Armed Forces, NSA, all that shit. And their parents were always there to help their kids. I don't know if they're... See, I wasn't making any money. I didn't think there was any money to be made in this fucking thing. They were always telling me they're broke. So I go to punk rock. I'm getting yelled at in my garage because I made a studio by my fake dad. you fucking loser and your loser bands, there's nothing, what are you gonna do? You know, it was a psyops. And I'm like, fuck, I wanna do something I love, and I don't give a fuck about credit cards. Because I wake up and look at you and you look miserable. You're so fucking scared to die. You're so afraid of something, and you owe everybody. And I don't want to be anything like you. And you're a fucking alcoholic to the bone. So, and I didn't know he was gay at that time. I mean, he married a trans, and I didn't know she was a trans for a long time. And they've been married 40 years since '81, since the Gold Cup. They hooked up and have been together. My little brother, that fake brother, CIA brother, Gary Dean Peters, married a person that used to be a man. Okay, it's nothing new to me. I just didn't know that you had to keep it secret. Coyote, she's one of the first trans in the scene in San Francisco. Me and Dave Beak, they gave me the car and $500. He got me like $2,600, $2,700. Barkley made like $1,200. And we all called it fair and even. We all went to San Francisco for 3 days. We took a Greyhound bus up there and had a blast. We didn't know anything about football at that time, but they had just won the Super Bowl, their first Super Bowl in forever. We went to the San Juan Hotel, fucking Broadway, where the MAB is, on Broadway. On Broadway and the MAB are two clubs right next to each other on Broadway Street, North Beach. And, you know, people eat fish heads and all that shit back then. And if you could bum, the Japanese had like these cigarettes that you could smoke that tasted like chicken noodle soup. It was fucking unreal. So Coyote, she's a known trans. The Jennifer Coyote. Anyway, and there was another one that the whole skateboard world knows about because I called her Iguana Woman, and I mean it was scary, but it wasn't a trans. The friend, Coyote, she's the known one from the punk rock days. I can't think of her name, but she ended up in Hollywood, I believe. But Barkley ended up with her, and I knew it. I mean, there's no hiding it. This is a she-male, and we partied with her. The Dead Kennedys played the next night. They're burning all the fucking trash cans and all that shit. Went to go get pierogies across the street at the liquor store, and they're robbing it. It was fucking chaos everywhere. They're burning the trash cans. What the fuck happened? They won the Super Bowl. That's exactly how San Francisco acted years later when the Holidays in the Sun came to town in San Francisco. It was great in Blackpool. It was great in Moultonbury, England. But they brought it here, and it was just a fucking joke of a bunch of jocks, sharps, and all our fucking American bullshit. But it was getting so bad over there too. So I drove to San Francisco. We just got off tour, had 3 days off or something. I got in my girl's car at the time, drove there, got there a half hour before the show, played my show, and drove all the way home. Usually you'd want to hang out and party with the punks and all, but even at that time, I think it was right around the end of the century. It might have been 2001, somewhere right around there. That's when it really just like was obvious, like something happened with this fucking scene. I think it was Jennifer Coyote. But Barkley ended up with her, and he never talked about it. Me and him were like, that's when we stopped being best friends. I was like, dude, are you gonna tell me a joke? Like, didn't you? Because I was drunk going, fuck, he's leaving. He's got his arm around her. They left out the door. We were at the MAB, and then I ended up with Iguana Woman, which is, you know, and lucky I was young, because that thing just tore me up. I was young, inexperienced. It basically raped me, but I was okay with it because I was young and dumb. And Barkley, I don't know what happened with them. Do not know. Never asked. Never wanted to know. But that's how I just don't like when they force it on you. Ted Terrebonne tried one with me when I was a kid. The skateboard shot on the hill, okay? That night, tried to like pull one on me. And I flipped out on him, told him to stay behind the door. Don't you ever fucking try that again. Called Fausto Patello, the owner of Independent. Told him what happened. He goes, okay, we're going to Milpitas, me and Mickey Alba tomorrow. Just get to the airport. We got to get to the skate park. We pick up Mickey at the airport. We go to, or Milpitas, land, we get to the park. We walk up. Fausto lays Ted Terrebonne out. Right away, we walked in, and he just laid him out. Me and Mickey went out and skated. I never saw Ted Terrebonne again for 20 years. And then I see him at the parking lot in Portland, and I'm in the Huns, and I'm in the motorhome, and knock knock, and I'm just waiting to play. There's another 2 bands to wait through, so I just waiting alone out in the thing, and it's Ted Terrible, who? Ted Terrible, and I open it up. Motherfuck, what are you doing? Can I come in? Totally asked for my forgiveness, and he has a couple kids now, sons now, and that's nothing. Forgave him, and we went out to Tahoe, shot some pictures right away. He was dying of cancer 10, 20 years later. Cab and Britain, when I had my shop, I was going to give him an art show, and those guys had a problem with that. So I figure that he was ousted from the Club of Rome when he asked for my forgiveness. That's my take on it. But I have nothing against gayness. I just, when it's forced upon someone else who doesn't want anything to do with it, you need to go to someone who wants to be gay with you, and then you guys just go do your thing. You know, that's totally cool. I'm not, when you fuckers try to enforce your shit on kids who don't even know fucking what any of this shit is till they're fucking 30, really, but we start fucking around by the time, I mean, you're young when you're 15. That's what I was, 15, 16, you're out there. So, you know, and you wished you would have waited, you know, because my first time wasn't fun, you know, it was by some hooker that needed a ride home on my moped. One of my fake sister's friends gave me a blowjob, and I never knew what the fuck, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, because I didn't even know anything about this shit. I mean, I've had a few other experiences. The hospital, when they're gonna cut my leg off, I had to go to court. I got my hospital stay for free because of the nurse. I woke up and he's going at it with me. I'm like, what the fuck, I'm loaded, and they're gonna cut my leg off. Now I gotta be nice to this guy. If I rat him out, my manager says, no, call the cops, because I called her. And that was a big fucking mistake. And then I tried to take him to court, and they said that because I'm so tattooed and fucked up looking that I won't get anything. Nurses do that to a 50-year-old that's in bed and out. What's he gonna do to these kids? That's why I was trying to take them to court. But they wiped 85 grand off my hospital bill. And I just went, okay, cool. And a 5-year clause where I wasn't allowed to talk about it.